Hey traders, John Howell here. So today is Sunday for me anyway, and happy weekend to everyone. The big two things that are really on my mind right now is, there's actually a lot of things on my mind right now when it comes to the trading and investing, but the two big long-term things for my investing positions, okay, because there's a differences there, is the inflation cycle. What's actually going on with the inflation cycle, and what does history actually tell us, and what's likely to come? So I want to tell you about an inflation cycle here, and the inflation indicator cycle, and also I actually want to bring up the actual the actual long-term inflation, because there's actually something that happened back in the 70s that may be repeating right now. And then also I want to get into this gold. When is gold likely to bottom to see another upward swing? Let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video, because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, let's get straight into it right now. If you haven't done so yet, I'm actually giving away 3 free gifts. If the first gift is for the first 20 people, should I say? Yesterday I did the 20 people. There's 15 spots taken. I've got 5 spots left open. So go to johnsfreegift.com. Firstly, you're going to get instant access to a free training, plus the 3 secrets you must know. You're also going to get you're going to get access to a free trading course, and then also there, as I said before, there's 5 spots left to book a coaching call with me to get your personal trading plan. So I did it yesterday. 15 spots are gone. 5 spots are left. Make sure you go to johnsfreegift.com. Put your email address in there. On the very next page, you'll get access to the free training to teach you my trading system, how I trade the markets. And then I want you to make sure you're booking your coaching call today, because I only got 5 spots left for this week. So go to that right now. So let's get into what is going on here. So let's actually go to the inflation. We'll go to inflation, then we'll get to the good old gold long-term cycle, because this is really exciting. Okay. So with me personally, guys, I'm always trying to, there's two different types of scenarios that I'm always looking at. Firstly, I'm always looking at, okay, for my because I have two different sort of portfolios or trade and accounts. All right, I have 2 different accounts. One account is where I see things going this year, and then I just keep stacking on that, stack, right, stack. So I do that. And the reason why is because the whole long-term thing is happening, right? The whole long-term thing is kicking in and it's happening, and so on and so forth. So, because as we know, one of the biggest mistakes that I've made, guys, over the last 17 years hasn't been just putting a little bit aside every single month to the long term. You know, because I was in one of the infrared saunas recently, and I was listening to The Richest Man in Babylon. And it's like, no, you know, it's like I'm getting on now, right? I've almost got a 4 in front of my name, and it's just like, it's crazy. One of the biggest mistakes that I've made is not even just taking a small little bit and putting it into something that's going to compound. And so that's what I do now. I make sure I put a little bit aside every single month, and then I just simply compound those things that I see are good this decade, right? This decade. And so I generally split it up into 3 different things. I know things might be crazy. The 3 different things for me are the S&P 500, and I just keep stacking. I've done that for a while, right? And especially the last couple of years, I've been doing it with gold, and I've been doing it with the mining sector, because I believe, once again, stacking, and it's more like a 2030 view, right? What's like if I'm looking from now through to 2030, and I want to have, you know, $20 million in a trading account, what do I need to do? What I need to do to keep stacking to have that 20 million, okay? Actually, my goal is a lot higher than that, but I'm just using that number, right? So that's that one side of it. Then the second side of it is more like my income. I have another account that I trade with, again, on that trading system you're going to get access to. I use that to actually trade for income, because I'm out quickly. I'm in with a few days and so on and so forth, right? That's a different level of skill. What I'm about to look at right now is what's happening on the actual the cycle of things. So for looking at this inflation cycle forecast, I watched a video from Larry Williams, I think it was, a few weeks ago, and I saw this in the video. So credit goes to him, and he actually showed this. So I took a screenshot of it, and I wanted to share it with you. So you can see this inflation cycle forecast, and you can see how that since 1990, right? Even back prior to that, when is that? We're going back probably to 1990. That's 1990, 2000. So going back probably, you know, maybe even close to 1980 back here. Okay, 1980s, like the 1980s. You can see how that this sort of cycle indicator gives us a bit of a conjunction of what's going on. Now, this was taken a few weeks ago. Oh, geez, what happened there? Easy. I try to bring up my trend line drawing tool. Okay, but look at this here. We can see like this is. It doesn't tell you how high things are going to go, but it generally gives you a cycle of where major bottoms and major tops are going to be. But it just doesn't tell you the length of that, right? So you can see that's where a major top's going to be, bottoms are going to be, and this cycle tells you this is where the inflation is likely to be, right? So look at this here. So we go through this point, right? We go through this point through here, and you can see here that the blue line is the indicator, right? It's the forecast indicator, and you can see here that this was the low period. On the black line is the actual inflation, okay? And you can see here that was the peak there, and it wasn't quite the peak, but we're very, very close. Then that was the bottom, that was the top. Look at this here. Then it said this was going to be the bottom. This is where the inflation bottomed out, and we ran up. Then it said that was going to be the top. We actually got to the top through there, okay? We came down through here, found a significant bottom, okay? Found a top. You can see what I'm saying, right? Down here, significant bottom. The actual indicator said so. Back up, we got like a little bit of a high. Okay, there's that high point. There's the high point. So you can see, and then there's the indicator said that's the next low point. That's the next low point. That's the next high point. That was actually pretty much very, very close to that high point. As you see, it came down. The next low it said there. Next high said there. So if you look at this here from a probability perspective, I have to say there's probably a 70 to 80% probability that this is going to find some significant turning points in the markets. Again, it doesn't tell you how high things are going to go or how low things are going to go. It just gives you a probability of turning points coming. So when you're looking at this here, look what this indicator is saying. It's saying that we're probably likely to see a significant turning point very, very soon. And then the major next turning point is going to be in 2026. Now, again, we don't know, right? This is taken a few weeks ago, so it looks like we may have a bit more, maybe a month or two of upward movement, and then we're probably going to start to see a movement down. Like it may come down like this here, right? Something like that, and then flatten out, and that may be the bottom there in 2026. Okay, as it continues down. Now, guess what? Guess what? This is also telling us. It's also telling us when the next probability of the next recession, because what's going to cause a massive deflation? A major recession, right? So that 25 to 26 period is also, it's right in line. So it's given us an idea. Okay, so we could, that 24 to 25, that 24, 25, 26 period, that's when we can start to look at some sort of danger periods, right? Of, okay, this is when that's when the big bang is going to happen, right? The next recession. So it's given us a bit of a clue there. Plus also, if you look at, I've been studying property cycles. Okay, I'm not going to bring it up now, but the property cycles, it tells us, especially here in Australia, for you guys that own property in Australia, the cycles of the property market is also telling us that we're going to peak out around that 25, 26 period. So, and then we're probably going to go through the next recession, especially for you guys in Australia, like me. Get ready for a recession, because we haven't had a recession in a couple of decades, so it's going to hit us hard. Okay, so just get ready for that. So that's what we're seeing through there, right? We can see what's going on in, and as I said, I just walked you through a few things. Firstly, we're probably going to get a peaking here soon, which is probably going to go to the June-July period. It's going to see a bit of a peaking out there, and then it's probably going to come down into 2026. But then, as you can see, right, it actually starts to scoop back up again, right? And then we start to get into, another another movement to the upside. So it does look like that. It does look like we're going to have getting very, very close to a peaking of that inflation. Then we're going to come down. We're going to probably create a massive recession around the 2026 period. The government at that time will come out with a major, major stimulus package. Like, you think the COVID situation, when they did how big that was, times 3, 4, or 5, that's what's coming, right? They're going to keep, it's history gives us 100% certainty of this happening. And the 100% certainty of what's going to happen in the next recession. They're going to print money, right? They're going to go crazy. Why? Because history gives us 100% certainty and I actually learned this from Ray Dalio's the New World Order, or the Changing World Order, I think it is. And then also Mike Maloney's Hidden Secrets of Money. I think it's episode 9. If you guys want to do something this weekend, go watch the episode 9. You'll be able to see that it really gives you a study of history of how things just repeat again and again and again and again and again, right? So, and then we can benefit from that. That's why I believe this decade, maybe this next couple of years might not be, but the second half of this decade, I've always said is going to be really big for the metals and miners, because that's when inflation is going to get really crazy. And I'll show you what I'm looking at here that happened back in the 70s, how it goes really in line with what we're actually going on right here. It's really fascinating. So we have this big pullback through here, and then we can see we have that point through there. So get ready for around that point. But once again, we're going to see massive printing, and that's going to be it. That's going to be the death of the dollar. Then you watch gold after that. Watch gold after that. Watch the mining sector after that. It's going to go absolutely bonkers, because that's when they're going to kill it. And as you know, they print the money into oblivion. Now, here's the interesting thing. Check this out. So if I bring this is actually really fascinating, right? So this is the cycle indicator that's telling us, okay, we've got down here, basically start of 2020, we had that deflationary period, then we go through the inflationary period, then it's coming back down to sort of the mid decade of this decade, and then it says it looks like we're going to go through another run here. But check this out. This is just so fascinating. So I'm going to bring this chart over here for a minute, and this is going to blow you away. Check this out. Right, so let me see if I can zoom in here a bit. Cool. Look at this here. Check out this whole zooming in period thing here. So look at this here. It says, oh my goodness, guys, check this out. This is just amazing. It says here, okay, now we're talking about this the inflationary indicator says 2020, to me, the 2020 period was like this period right here, when in basically the middle, which as you can see, 1960 to 1980, the middle was what? 1970. 1970, we had what? We had a very big move up for a few years. 2020, we had a very big move up for a few years. Now the cycle indicator says we're probably going to start to peak out soon, and we're going to continue having a downward slope on the inflation down to the middle of this decade. What happened in the 70s? We had a continuation move down through the middle of 1970. As you can see, right, it's actually in the middle of here of this 1970 period. Movement through there. Now, look what the cycle indicator says, that we're probably likely to get a massive inflation on the second half of this decade. The 1970s did what? The second half of the decade moved straight into the 1980s with even more inflation. Now, what do you think is going to cause this massive inflation? And what do you think caused this massive inflation back in the 70s? It's the same thing. This cycle indicator is giving us a clue of what's coming. We can actually see the future. Do you see this? We can actually see the future from this thing. It's amazing. It's the same thing happening again. So we have a deflationary period, right? A recession. But guess what's going to cause this massive reflation or the massive inflation? The exact same thing they did back here. They're going to do the exact same stupid thing. They're going to print a whole bunch of currency, whole bunch of money, put in the system, and then guess what? The same thing's going to happen, right? There's more money, so on and so forth. So if you're a business owner, oh my goodness, you need to be ready for that time. For me, as a business owner, as I have coaching programs and stuff like that, hopefully I've actually still got a business around that time, and I'm not just going full-time trading. But you can see here, see how it's in line with the actual 70s. It's absolutely incredible there. Same thing. So let's go have a look now at the gold cycles. So look at this here. The gold cycles of these markets here. Look at this here. So this is, remember I said before that, again, this is from Larry Williams, and it just gives us a bit of a rough cycle of not how high things are going to go or how low things are going to go, but where maybe we're going to see significant turning points. So as you can see at this time, we're actually at the start of April when he actually took this screenshot. So right now we're getting into May, we're getting close here, but it says here that on this inflation cycle, and you can see here that was the low, that was the high, so on and so forth, right? Low, that was the low there, that was the high there, the low, that was the low there, so on and so forth, right? You can see here what's happening here, that was the low, getting to low there, high, that was the high point through there. So the next major turning point is where? Around the end of May into June. Oh, we're actually getting hey, that's actually where we are right now. So what has gold done ever since here, right? Gold's done this. Gold's done something like that, right? It's come back down. So maybe, just maybe, we're going to start to get some sort of maybe trend line coming into play somewhere through there, and then it's going to start to peak out, and then maybe we start to get a bit of a move back up again for a while. So you can see here that that's actually really, really, really powerful from the forecast of what's going on, of the gold forecast. So anyway, traders, that's what I wanted to share with you today. There's a lot of things that's going on in the markets right now, and I'm just so excited about this. And as you can see with the inflation, it's like the cause effect relationships. Hear me out. I'm going to finish off with this. If we can understand what's likely to happen this decade, I just shared it with you. Okay, we can see the future. That's the cause. The cause is obviously what's going to happen. What's the effect? What happened in the 70s? What did really, really, really well through that time? And that's where, guess what? You want to position yourself for the rest of where? The rest of this decade.